In a complex sentence, you have a main clause, that's an independent one. It makes proper sense. And you have a subordinating clause. And the subordinating clause starts with what? Starts with a subordinating conjunction, right? On its own, it does not make complete sense. That's what it is. So if we engage in more skill-based training programs, we can reduce unemployment. So we can reduce unemployment is independent. If is the subordinating conjunction. If we engage in more skill-based training programs, that's the subordinating conjunction. So the adverb clause is what? In which we have a clause that plays the role of an adverb. Adverb tells us why, when, where, how something happens. So this is an example of an adverb clause. Let's look at the next one. Unemployment would not have become such a big problem if it had been handled at its nascent stage. Nascent is the initial stage. So again, we've got the word if. Children would become more confident if they got more exposure to the world. So I've taken 3 sentences using if over here. Most of the people go wrong while using if in their clauses. Remember, in the main clause, if you've got can reduce, or reduces, if you've got the simple present tense, then in the if clause, what do we use? We use, this is a present simple tense. In the if clause, remember, we never use will, we never use would. Note it down. We do not use will or would in the if clauses. So we cannot say if we will engage. And then here, unemployment would not have become, it would not have happened, it would have happened. We are talking about a past hypothetical situation. Then we use a past perfect tense over here, if it had been handled. So usually in conjunctions, this kind of conjunctions, we need to be careful about the tense also. And when we look at a hypothetical situation, so children would become more confident when, not if they get, but they got. Here you put simple past tense. Right? If they got more exposure to the world. So be careful about while using if. Then unless you make a mistake, you will never learn. The subordinating clause, right? Although I love shopping, I did not accompany my friends to the mall. A common mistake while using although is what? When you use the word but also after although. So remember, a sentence in which you use although or though, you do not, you should not use the word but or yet. You do not use them. No? You just place a comma after this clause. Right, everybody? Adjective. Adjective, you all know, describing words like good, bad, wonderful, great. So instead of a word, if a clause describes somebody or something, then it becomes the adjective clause. So remember, I'm just repeating that your complex sentences can have the adjective clause, the adverb clause, or the noun clause, which we are going to do. So look at this now. The fact, which fact, what fact? That we can answer this question with the virtual tools is amazing. The fact is amazing. Which fact? We're describing that those children, which children who are street smart are able to handle peer pressure. The coronavirus epidemic, which coronavirus epidemic, which started in China, is giving sleepless nights to many. You all are familiar with these sentences. These sentences are not new for you. We all use them daily. Understand, these are the ones that give us complex sentences. Just be careful the way you. Now let's look at the noun clause. This is one clause we usually do not have in our sentences. Mostly we read about it and sometimes we do not understand it. So there are some sentences that start with that. What's a noun clause? Noun means naming word, somebody or something. So something is painful. Something is a painful truth of our society. What is it? So I can say, oh, this is a painful truth of our society. That is a painful truth of our society. That literates are governed by illiterates is a painful truth of our society. The same sentence, understand this sentence better now. It can be structured this way also. I can structure it even in this way. It is a painful truth of our society that literates, and we continue this way. And I'm sure you all are familiar with this kind of sentences. It is a known fact that you all are familiar. Now just reverse the order of clauses. So when we reverse the order of clauses, what do we have right at the beginning as the subject? We get a noun clause as the subject, right? So we reverse the order, we get that literates are governed by literates is a painful truth of our society. It is a known fact that girls score more marks than boys, right? So that girls score more marks than boys, that girls are leaving boys behind is a known fact. I just reverse the order and we have that clause at the beginning as the subject, right? If there are boys here attending this class, should not mind it, huh? But this is a known fact. This is the truth of the present times. Okay. Some believe. Now, some believe what? That technology will soon make the teachers redundant. See, if I reverse it, so noun can become the subject. Noun can become the object also. Similarly, a noun clause can become the subject as well as the object. If I have to reverse this, it can be reversed this way. That technology will soon make the teachers redundant is the belief of some. So what is the belief of some? That technology will soon make the teachers redundant. So we've got the noun clause as the subject, noun clause as the object. Nobody knows. Now nobody knows what? Nobody knows this, nobody knows that. So nobody knows where he is. So common mistake in this kind of sentences, nobody knows where is he. Wrong. We don't say nobody knows. I do not know what is it. No, I don't know what it is. I don't know how is it done. No, I don't know how it is done. So nobody knows where he is. See the structure of the sentence, the placing of the words. Something has become a reality now. What is it that has become a reality? What used to be a dream earlier has now become a reality. Something has become a car park now. What has become a car park now? Maybe a children's a parking space now. What has become a parking space now? Children's park has become a parking space. So what used to be a children's park has now become a parking space. So we can have noun clauses this way. We can have the noun clauses starting with that also. Noun clauses can be the object also, right? And I'm sure you all read this kind of sentences, right? So we can have 3 types of sentences. Simple sentence, something that we discussed right at the beginning. So what's a simple sentence? Just one verb in it. For example, I can say, oh, this is a wonderful idea. So when I say this is a wonderful idea, it's a simple sentence. This is a wonderful idea and I'm going to use it in my webinar. So the second one was, I'm going to use it in my webinar. I connect these using a coordinating conjunction and I'm going to use it in my webinar. So this becomes a compound sentence. This is a simple sentence which can be used, or this is a wonderful idea which can be used in a webinar. So what kind of an idea which can be used? I'm describing the idea now, right? So we have a simple sentence, a compound sentence, and then a complex sentence. When do we have a complex sentence? When we have a subordinating clause in the sentence. And there are 3 types of subordinating clauses that you can get: a noun clause, an adjective clause, and an adverb clause. All right then, bye-bye everybody.